Hello, hello, and welcome to the Joy of Connection. I am really, really excited tonight because I've got my best friend of 25 years. 25 years. Okay, let me calm down. Yes, my best friend, my best male friend, because I don't want the other friends to flip out. So we got to make sure everyone's, on the same page. But I'm really excited to be interviewing him. We're going to talk about friendship, the importance of it. My life has been richer for most of my friendships. And for me, when I lived in the States for over 25 years, my friends were my family. So for me, this is just incredible and important thing to talk about. But, before we go there, I just want to touch on the inauguration yesterday. I mean, how fabulous was it? And how strange in some ways, right? I mean, there was nobody really there, but we just kept together, we as the Democrats, oops, shouldn't say who I belong with. But anyway, we just did what we had to do. We went out there, we let our show go on, and we didn't worry about what's his name not being there and not showing up and all of that good stuff. So, it was a fabulous day. Amanda Gorman was phenomenal. I mean, what a fabulous young lady. She just did an amazing job. And everybody, Obama was looking great. Michelle was looking fly with the hair. I mean, Biden, everybody was looking fantastic. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on board from the States, because that's where we are this week. We're in the States. So I'm going to bring on my best friend, Dion Robinson. Dion, welcome.
Hey, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
I'm great. Excited to be here.
Oh, fantastic. So happy to have you. So, I don't even know where to start. I've got so much I want to talk about, so many questions, so many things I want to share with the audience. But I guess first, last but not least, first, not last, but first, let me just ask you, where did we connect? Where did we meet? Do you remember? I got my question wrong. Before we even go there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited. I'm just not even focused. Okay, let me just tune in. Okay. Please tell the audience where you're from and where you live.
Okay. All right. Well, my name is Dion Robinson. I'm originally from Long Beach, California, LA County. And at this point, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, which is a little bit different from New York. I lived in New York for 33 years and loved it. And I still love it, but decided to just do a change, make a big change and move to Atlanta. So now I live in Atlanta. It's a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more comfortable. So.
Yeah, a little bit more space, right?
Yeah, and a lot more space. A lot more
space, yeah.
And so much more real time.
A lot more south.
Yeah. Oh, and that too. Exactly. Used to hearing the southern accent. Yeah.
Exactly. I won't say too much about the ATL, as they call it, or Atlanta, because our producer is from.
I don't think anybody calls it Atlanta anymore.
No. Oh.
They used to, but they don't do that anymore.
Well, they don't, but we do in New York, Crime
Oh,
Club.
that's true. I get it. Yeah.
But I don't want the producer to be suddenly erasing shows or anything, so I'll just be nice about it because that's where it's from. So we'll keep it nice. We'll keep it nice. So Dion, please tell the audience about when we first met. I mean,
Oh,
can you remember? Can you remember? Because I'll never forget. So,
I remember I was living in Brooklyn,
that's right.
and I had a nice little garden apartment, which was great. I had my own little outside, which was backyard, which was nice, my piece of green. And I had a very good friend, my friend Darren, who I'd met in 1985 when I first moved to New York. He was one of the
Okay.
people that I met in New York, and he was a very good friend of mine. He was a real estate agent, and one day he came to my house. This was in 1995. If I'm not mistaken, 1995. Do you remember the month?
It was April 1995 because I was busy looking to buy my first apartment. So I'll never forget.
Okay, I remember that. So he said, "Look, what are you doing today?" And I said, "Nothing." He would always call me at the last minute. We always did impromptu dinners or ran out to a restaurant here or there. And so he said, "Look, I have two friends or two women actually that are looking for a place. This woman, Michelle, is looking for a place, and Michelle had her friend with her, and so they both came to my apartment with my friend Darren, and we introduced ourselves. We got to talking. From there, the rest is history. I mean, me and Michelle, we were together almost every day. Do you remember that, Michelle?
Yeah.
Almost every day. Every day. We were foodie buddies. We were wine enthusiasts, and just anything culture in New York City, we did it. I mean, from plays, to shows, to musical performances, everything. It was amazing. I loved it.
And you walking me around the city till I was tired. Oh.
The best part about a big city is walking it.
I guess it depends on who's doing the walking. But hey, before I go further, Dion, we've got quite a few people jumping in and saying hi. So we've
Great.
got Gwen saying, that's right, Gwen Cover's calling in.
Oh, hey, Gwen. I'm supposed to call her back, actually.
Oh, well, she might be your ex-friend soon. And then we've got Claudia saying evening. Claudia's from the UK.
Hey, Claudia, how are you?
Leslie saying hi, and that Amanda Gorman was phenomenal, which she was, Leslie. So thanks for tuning in, Leslie. And Eva said, stateside tonight. Good day to you guys. Good day. Good day's Australia. We're not Australia. We're in New York.
Good day.
Gwen says, hi, Dion and Mishi.
Oh.
Who else? Janet saying, hi, Gwen, Mish and Dion. Good vibes. Wow, we've got quite a few people. And I've got a few names again that I don't know what they're saying. So I don't know who's saying the comments. So my producer will bring it up so you can see that if you type into StreamYard your name, if you're looking at the screen via, I think the Facebook group or YouTube, one of them, whichever one it is, there's an option for you to click on it and then you just put your name in and it pops up. Oh, my sister's on here. Hi, Dion. I didn't even get a hello. You got a hello. My sister Annette's online. Hey, Annette. Welcome. Wow, we got a nice little audience here tonight. Yeah. So Dion, tell me, do you have a spiritual practice or a ritual that you do every day or every week? Whenever.
Well, as far, I guess, I always think of what is it that I do that keeps me grounded and keeps me focused on things. And I think it's maybe just every day. I think before I go to bed, I just sit there and I think about, what did I do today? What did I do that made a difference? Did I touch anybody, whether it be from a phone call or just a message to someone or something? Did I touch anyone? Did I make a difference and make them feel different, I guess, or make them feel a special way about themselves? I don't know if that's considered spiritual practice, but it's just something I always think of, like, what did I do today that made a difference in somebody's life other than my own? And then I also think of, what did I do for myself that, helped me in my growth process?
Yeah, that's wonderful, Dion. Wonderful. Yeah, it's great. It's great. I mean, listen, I thought I would tell the audience what I think of you as a friend, because you've got so many qualities and I know you won't say any of them. So I'm going to just tell the audience a little bit about him. So you know what? I'm going to hold off because there's another part when I'm going to bring it. I'm going to bring
Okay,
that.
because I'm thinking like, uh-oh, what is she gonna say?
We're going to save the juicy bit a bit later.
Okay, all right.
So tell me, in your day-to-day life, you are an international flight attendant and
Yeah.
flight leader. Flight leader.
Yeah. Well, flight attendant is the basic term that we use for everybody.
But
So
you're the HNIC. You're in charge. So
yeah, the person. Yeah.
HNIC. That's our little joke. We won't say too much about that. But anyway, would you tell the audience a little bit about your passion for travel? I mean, that's one of the things that we share and one of the things that we've always connected on, and we always have our annual trips together. But tell us, how did you get involved in that? What made you decide that you wanted to do that as a profession?
Well, when I was younger, very much younger, I guess, when I was in my teens, actually, my late teens, I started thinking about getting out of where I was. I can't say that I was stuck. I lived in Long Beach, California, but there were certain parts of town where I'd go by and I would see people sitting on the porch. And every time you go by, they'd always sit on the porch and they'd wave at everyone going by. And I'd always think to myself, you know what? I got to get out of here. I got to get out of here. or otherwise that's going to become me, that same person that's just waving at all the cars going by, everybody in the neighborhood. I wanted to see different people. I wanted to see different things and do different things. And so I started looking into doing something in the travel industry. I went to a travel school, this place called Pacific Travel School in California. I went there and then I heard about an interview at TWA Airlines for a reservation sales agent. So TWA, yeah, I worked for TWA from 1985. And so doing that, you're speaking to people and you're booking reservations all around the world. And, and I started thinking like, I want to go to these places. I'd love to see them. I'd love to go to some of those places. And so I started, thinking more about travel, and I started traveling a little bit more. I think when I was 19, I went to London my first time, and that was great. And, just went different places. And then finally, eventually in 1988, I became a flight attendant. And once I did that, that changed my world forever. As far as travel, it became the thing that was my passion, because just being in a different place, seeing different people, tasting different foods and cultures, you get such a worldview of things instead of just a local view. And that's what I wanted. I wanted something more than just that local view of things.
Yeah, absolutely. And so is there a country that you haven't been to that you want to go to?
Well, let me think. I'm trying to think of some places that I haven't been that I'd like to see.
Yeah. Have you been to China?
Yes.
Yeah, I know. In Russia,
I've been to Russia. Yeah, we've been to St. Petersburg and to Moscow. I'm trying to think of some place that I haven't. I'd say maybe New Zealand. I've never been to New Zealand, and
okay.
maybe New Zealand, but been all over Africa, all over Asia, Southeast Asia, which is my favorite. I think Southeast Asia.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So I don't know if there's any place that I haven't been that I haven't. Of course, I'd like to go a few places that I've been before. I want to go back.
Like where would you love to go back to?
Oh, what do I want to go back to? I'd love to go back to Indonesia, which I love so much. Bali is amazing. The Java is amazing. I lived in Jakarta for 4.5 months. You remember that?
That's right.
Yeah, and your cousin Andrea came and we had a wonderful time in Java and in Bali. It was amazing. So I'd love to go back there again and just spend some more time, because the people are amazing, the food is amazing, and just the hospitality and just the feeling of just relaxation. It's really nice.
One of the things I remember you and Andrea telling me, just for you guys, for the audience who may not know who Andrea is, Andrea was my cousin who passed away a few years ago, unfortunately, and we were like two peas in a pod, I would say, one of the closest people in my life. And with my relationship with Dion, she became really close as well. And she decided that she was going to travel, and they ended up connecting in Southeast Asia for a few months. So they had their own relationship going on, as well as, Dion and my relationship, which is great. Dion, before I go on to the next question, I've got the audience asking, Gwen wants to know, what about South Pacific, Tonga, Fiji? Do you want to go there?
I've been to Tahiti, to Papeete, and to Papeete, which was okay, but I've never been to Fiji. I've been to Palau, which is in the South Pacific, which is pretty nice. I enjoyed that. I'd like to. Maybe I would like to see that. I think actually I'd like to go to. Now that I'm thinking about it, I'd love to go to Mauritius.
Ah,
Go to the Maldives. Even though I speak to so many people about the Maldives, and they say, "Oh, it's so amazing, so amazing." But what did you do? Well, we just sat around.
yeah, it's really huge, but
Sat
it's
around, relaxed, and
phenomenal.
living and snorkeling. But,
Yeah, yeah. Leslie Emery said, Iceland for me, the Northern Lights, not my living room. Perfect.
I did like Iceland, but I was there 2 years ago with Joelle, and I tore my calf muscle. Do you remember that? I tore my calf muscle. I had to stay there longer than usual. I was there for a week and tore my calf muscle, and had to stay there longer, and was out of work for 4.5 months trying to get my calf muscle together. And so now when I think of Iceland, I'm like, it's all right. Yeah. And
there.
you told me about a place there that I went to. Do you remember the place Cole? And
yeah.
The food is absolutely amazing. The wine list, the food, it was just amazing. I limped there with my crutches to the taxi stand to take me to Cole the last night I was there in Iceland, and I went there for my last night.
And guys, this is what's so amazing about our relationship. You know, I might travel somewhere and then I'll say, "Oh, Dion, when you go, you've got, oh, what happened? I just lost you. Can you see me?"
I can see you. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know what happened. My screen just disappeared. Anyway, I would call you and say, "Hey, you know, you've got to check out this place, yada, yada, yada." And then you'd say, "Okay." And then you go. And then I'll be somewhere and I'll text you and say, "You know, I'm such and such. What do you recommend?" And you'll say, have the gin and tonic there, and have dinner downstairs around the corner. And then, you know, breakfast is over here. So, you know, we're such foodies and drinkies, if there's such a term, you know, I love that.
What about the Hotel Villa Franca in Positano that my dad kept telling me that I have to go to the Villa Franca? And me and you, we decided to go and stay there. It was wonderful.
That's right. Oh my goodness. I mean, wasn't that lush or wasn't that lush?
Yeah.
Now we know how the other half really lived. That was a fabulous place. I remember how we tried every angle to get in there, and I had to make a phone call to someone. Who did I call? I forgot what her name. A friend of mine in Atlanta was a travel agent and said, you know, "Can you get us in?" And she said, "Oh, I've got to make a call and wait a few days." But eventually we got in. So that was great. Wonderful. And that was after my fabulous trip to Cuba. Put it all went down. So, and Ada, you've been to Africa, right? Dion?
Yes.
Please.
You called me Ade. I was waiting like,
Africa, sorry. What's going on? I'm freezing. There's too many men here.
I've been to a lot of different countries in Africa, which I really love Africa because it's just the people are nice. A lot of people don't think it's nice, but once they go, they'll realize that it's really a great place. There's so many different types of foods and, you know, different cultures and the colors, and just, it's wonderful. I love it.
Yeah. Okay. So, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about your life. Tell us a little bit about your relationships, your friendships, and the thing I'm really interested in hearing about is your relationship with your mother. That's such an amazing relationship.
It was an amazing relationship. She passed away a few years ago, and it was so amazing. We'd travel so much. I'd take her around, and she would come and visit me for, say, a month or 2 months at a time, and we'd just have so much fun. I'd drag her around, and, you know, she wasn't doing too well at one point because she had an illness. However, she was still able to get up and move around. There'd be times that I'd be away, and I'd give her a call just to find out how she was doing, and she'd be downtown somewhere. This was when I lived in New York. She'd be downtown, shopping somewhere, meeting people on buses. And I would say, you know, "Oh, Mom, you're in New York City. Please just don't meet people on buses. You don't know what they'll do." But she would always just have a great time and just enjoy herself wherever she was. There would be times that I'd call her and just say, "Hey, Mom, look, meet me at JFK at 5:00 on Friday." And she'd say, "Where are we going?" I was like, "I can't tell you." And she'd say, "Okay, well, is it going to be cold?" And I said, "Just bring layers." And she'd just bring layers. Next thing I know, 5:00 Friday, she'd be there. And I'd take her to the gate, and she goes, "Oh my God, we're going to Prague." And we'd go to Prague, or we'd go to Paris, or we'd go to Germany, to Berlin. We went to Berlin. We'd go to Athens, Greece. I'd take her on a cruise, and we'd just go and just have a good time. She was a wonderful travel companion.
I know. And you'd say that she was really, really fun, right?
Oh my goodness.
Laugh all the time together.
We'd laugh at so many things. She'd always tell me, look, take a picture of that. And I would say, what is it? And it would just be a picture of something. And then later when I'm looking at the picture on my phone, I'm like, oh, I'd see something that she saw when she wanted me to take the picture. And then we'd both just start laughing and cracking up at it. It was funny. Really nice.
Love it. Oh, I miss her. I remember one of the last times that we spent together, we were in her room and you were showing her how to use the Amazon Fire Stick.
Yeah.
Like, I can't get this. How do I do this? And you were like, Mom, it's so easy. And you were showing her all these different things and sweet memory.
We're all just laying on her bed. Just very nice.
Oh, and what else do you remember about that LA trip?
Oh my goodness. Well, okay. Well, I don't want to really get us both in trouble at this point, but we were late to a wedding because we decided to stop and try the gin and tonic at this at a really nice restaurant that we saw. We were in, in Costa Mesa. We were in Costa Mesa, South Coast Plaza. It was a really nice Italian restaurant. And we said, oh, let's just stop in real quick and have an appetizer before the wedding, just in case the food's not out in enough time. So we decided to stop, and the gin and tonics were amazing. It was with Hendrick's gin. We had a cucumber. Do you remember that?
Cucumber.
Great.
Yeah, we won't get into trouble. We won't talk too much about that.
Late to the wedding, but it was okay. The wedding was nice.
It was great, and we showed up.
Yeah.
So my love. Tell me a bit about your dad, because the theme of tonight obviously is friendship, and I always think of you not only as being my really close friend, but that you didn't have your dad in your life for many years, and so when he came into your life, you became almost like friends more than father and son. Am I right or am I wrong?
Yeah, you're right. It's been a really an amazing journey. I mean, I met him when I was in my 30s.
Yeah.
Which was strange because when I was a kid, I didn't know him, didn't know where he was. Him and my mother had lost contact because of when he met my mom. She was married with 2 kids, and he met her and was like, look, I'll take care of you. Just everything will be okay. She moved in with him, and then he got drafted. And so from that point, he left and went away. My mother's second letter to him was, I'm pregnant. And he was like, don't worry, when I come back, everything's going to be fine. Of course, he was away and in Germany, and it was 2.5 years before he came back. So in the meantime, my mother, of course, had met someone else. The other person was like, look, I'll take care of you, the 3 kids. You don't have to work a day in your life. I got you. And so she was like, okay, fine. So when my father came back, he had a hard time seeing me. But eventually in 1988, I was watching TV, one of those talk shows. You remember Phil Donahue, Raphael, Jenny Jones, all those shows had these reunion shows where they had all these people who either given up children at, when they were born or something like that, where they got reunited and they became reunited. And so I decided to call these companies. I called 1-800-US Search, Find People Fast,
Red Cross as well, right?
Which one?
Red Cross, didn't you call them as well?
It wasn't Red Cross. It was Seekers of the Lost, Find People Fast, 1-800-US Search, and People Finders. Those 4 companies. And so what I did was I had to put his name in, was looking for him everywhere, and they sent me about 77, and they said I had to make the connection. So I started making the connections, and I had to call. But every year I'd be afraid because what if he was dead? What if he was a drug addict? What if he didn't want to see me? What if he was, just anything could have happened. So I would get a little afraid. And finally, after my 10 years of really procrastinating, he found me. So it became a situation where I was like, what? He found me. He found me. And it was very strange how he found me. I won't go into it. It's a long story. We need to have that conversation over a cocktail. But, but he found me, and it became amazing. Once I got to meet him, I went to Germany, I went to Berlin to see him. He then said, it's cold, it's January, we're in Berlin, why don't we go somewhere hot? And I said, sure. So he took me to Morocco, and we went to Morocco. I'd never been to Morocco. Took me to Morocco for 10 days. We had an amazing time. He told me things about my mother that I never knew. And so from that point on, we've been so close.
Yeah.
And we talk every other day, every 2 days, every 3 days sometimes. But we talk a lot. We travel a lot together.
That's right.
we're always going somewhere. We went to the Philippines together. We went to Dubai. We went to Majorca. They have the house in Majorca, so we went to the house in Majorca, and then he bought a house in Antigua. So we now go to Antigua on vacation. So we go to Antigua and visit there. And he travels a lot. When he comes to the States, we get together. We'll stay somewhere in New York, or we'll go to my aunt's house in Mississippi, and we just have one amazing time. It's so amazing. He just turned 80 on January 5th.
And he's fabulous, guys, fabulous.
He just turned 80, and I'm just so proud of him. I'm just so happy that I know him, and just happy to be part of. I want to be just like him when I grow up, if I could say that. But he's amazing. He's an amazing person. He's up to 15K, walking 15K a day now. So he was doing 10K, and he was so proud. But now he's up to 15K, and he's 80, and he's up, and he's moving, and he's always busy.
But he doesn't even look it. I mean, I can't even see those numbers.
He's what than I am, I think.
I'm going to say, hug me like an 80-year-old, because I don't know how that feels. Remember that time we went out for, where did we go? It was one of those department stores, the high-end ones, and we ordered champagne, and he was not happy with the way they served it.
Oh, was it at Bloomingdale's? No, was it Barney? Was it Barney's or Bloomingdale's? It was either Barney's or Bloomingdale's. We were upstairs.
Barney's.
Yeah, and the woman filled the glass all the way up to the top.
To the top. And he was like, what kind of training does she have? I mean, his dad is a connoisseur of good food, good wine, which is probably where Dion got it from without even knowing it. I mean, it was just, and I was in my element, like, oh, great wine, great champagne, great food, great environment. And for those who don't know what Barney's is, can you tell them a little bit about
Barney's is a department store in New York City. Really nice. One of the quintessential top department stores in New York City. I guess in London you'd say like Harvey Nichols or something like that.
Yeah.
Harvey Nichols.
But quite trendy, not
very trendy.
I feel, contemporary, very contemporary.
Yeah, kind of high end, but very nice.
Yeah.
Very nice. And in every big department store in New York City, there's a restaurant.
That's
A
right.
lot of people don't know that, but there's always a very nice restaurant somewhere in the
Yeah.
department store. So
Except for Macy's. I don't think they've got a nice restaurant in Macy's. Do they? I mean, they've got a restaurant, but not.
Macy's has a very nice one upstairs also. Yes.
High-end one in Macy's?
It's called Stella. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I've been there. Yeah.
Yeah, I've been Stella as well.
Yeah. It's good.
It's good. So I just want to give you some feedback from the audience because we're getting so much here. So Eva says that that's so wonderful. You've got a beautiful relationship. Carly said, going out for G&Ts.
Yes.
Gwen said, what a beautiful experience to surprise your mum, the gift of travel.
Oh, yes.
Right?
Amazing.
And let's see. Carly wants to know, what's your favorite country in Africa, Dion?
Oh, favorite country in Africa. Because I've been to quite a few countries, and I do like Ghana. I would say Ghana is a really wonderful country. I like going there. I like the people. In Accra, it's. I guess they're kind of having I wouldn't say more of a. There's such a insurgence of art and culture and fashion and music, and it's just always so busy. They have lots of really nice restaurants there now. You can go and eat at several different restaurants, throughout your time there, and you won't have a bad meal at all. It's really nice. I like Ghana a lot.
I love that, and I love, as you know, I love the Ghanaian men. That's another story for another night as well.
I do like Johannesburg also. I mean, Johannesburg is a wonderful city.
Yeah, you said they've got a good dance scene there, right? Was it Johannesburg?
Music, the house music scene.
Yeah.
House music. We're like really good, like that old classic 70s and 80s house music with the really nice beats and the good singers and the vocal, and really great. I like that about South Africa, the music. But I haven't been to Cape Town. Everybody told me Cape Town is the place to go.
Oh, okay.
Cape Town, and I'd love to see Durban. So that's on my bucket list.
Yeah, for some reason, South Africa's not even on my top 10. It's just, whenever. I don't know. I don't know if it's apartheid. I don't know if it's what. There's something about it. It's like, when I go.
Let me tell you, that was really one of my things that when I went to Johannesburg, and then of course I went to Soweto.
Yes.
To the Oscar Peterson Museum.
Oh, really?
Peterson Museum. I went to the Apartheid Museum Mandela House, and of course,
Mm.
bring a box of tissues because I'm I'm telling you, it's so sad when you see, and there's TV clips and everything there. The Apartheid Museum, and you're looking at it and you're just like, I cannot believe that people had to live this way. And just, but then, maybe someone from South Africa may come to the States and say, wow, you had to live through civil rights and all that. I didn't live through it. But so a lot of people have lived through it, and their experience was just as bad for them as someone from South Africa.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, I
Injustice is injustice no matter how you look at it.
exactly. And someone here, overpowered, underpaid. I love that name. What is the best advice you've heard or come up with yourself for an amateur traveler? That's a good question.
To come up with, let's see, for an amateur traveler, what would be the best thing to do, or the best come up with for yourself? Don't pack too much, of course, because you always have room for more things that you're buying. Just be aware of your surroundings wherever you go. Just be aware of who's around you, what's around you, and just have an open mind. Have an open mind to food. Have an open mind to meeting people, talking to people. Don't share too much, because some people try to, there's certain people out there that aren't, honest or anything. So don't share too much, but just have an open mind and be nice. And just be nice. A smile goes a long way. Even if you're nervous about something, a smile goes a long way. Just try your best, and always try to learn a little bit of the language, no matter where you are. Always try to learn a little bit of the language wherever you are. That will get you through a lot of it, I think.
Exactly. Hello and thank you goes a long, long way. I remember my first trip to Italy. I actually went to study there. Was that my first trip? I'm not sure, but I went to Italy and I went to study for the semester there for 6 weeks. And I just said like 2 or 3 words in Italian, and all of a sudden it was like, la bella cioccolata. And, they were doing all sorts of nice things, and they got me to the Vatican and all sorts. It was great. Sistine Chapel, actually. It was amazing. It was amazing. So, I don't know who this is. Young nymphs in the building, between the floor and the ceiling. Okay. Have a bit of fun there. Okay, so Carly said, needs some Dion and good vibes on the flights. I think she wants to know what can do to relieve her nerves. That's a good question Carly has. Because a lot of people want to travel. She said, what can she do to relieve her nerves? Because a lot of people want to travel, but they're very scared with, the turbulence, or just being on a plane, knowing that you can't put your feet on the ground. A lot of people struggle with that.
On a plane. Some people drink. However, I wouldn't recommend that for a lot of people, because one drink in the air is like having 3 on the ground, and because of the altitude, your body really doesn't realize, you're drinking too much. So I would definitely say, for some people take Benadryl. Take a Benadryl, just something to kind of relax, or make sure that you don't get sleep before the flight, so that when you get on a flight, especially if it's a long flight, you'll be able to relax. You'll say, okay, fine, I had a full day. I didn't get a lot of sleep before the flight. Once I get on the plane, I can kind of relax and just. Turbulence is really, in a way, like rocking me to sleep. That's what I like about turbulence. It's just rocking me to sleep. The plane's bumping, and the plane's not going to flip over or anything like that. Don't worry about it. It's just air.
Do you ever get nervous when you're flying? Have you ever had a stressful situation where you're like, oh?
Yeah. I've been nervous, but I always think, those pilots, they have families. They have families, they have kids, everything. So they're not going to do anything to really, they're going to do their best, and they're going to get us on the ground. That's all I say every time. I've been flying for what? How many years? I've been a flight attendant? 34 years. I think about 34 years. I started in 1988. So,
sorry, I'm getting a lovely message from Denise. She says, hi, my birthday sister.
Oh, my sister, Denise, hey!
So she's going to come on and listen to you. Hey, Denise, thanks for joining us. Denise is in LA, so, the time difference is serious. It's 8 hours difference from here in London, so yeah. And somebody else asked, what's the worst gimmick and best gadget for air travel? I'm not quite sure what you mean by gimmick.
The worst gimmick?
Do you know what that means?
Something that everybody has. Those neck pillows. Everybody has those neck pillows.
I get it.
I'd rather just have a hoodie rolled up and put there, because it's a lot more comfortable than those neck pillows. For me personally, I have a really nice neck pillow though from Muji. and it's all flexible. So everything's flexible and move to one side or move to the other side, and it's really comfortable. So
Gosh,
the neck pillow thing. People buy them and they just leave them on the plane.
yeah. I think you gave me a lovely one that had all the little beads.
Yeah,
Or-
Muji. That's the one.
yeah.
That's my favorite. Yeah, the Muji, and it's very flexible, and you can move it around and shift all the beads to one side or to another side. That's what I like about
I think I left that on the plane.
it. Like everyone else.
Sorry. So, Dion, let's talk about our friendship. I mean, it has been colorful, it has been fun. I don't know if there's anything that you don't know about me that you shouldn't. I mean, I think you know everything there is to know about me. We've been through thick and we've been through thin. We've had our ups, we've had our downs, but through all of it, we've had so many good times. And I just wanted to tell the audience some of the reasons that I consider you a best friend.
Oh,
So
okay.
I've got it on my iPad because
No bad things. Okay. Bad stuff. Okay.
So Dion, I consider you my best friend, my best male friend, because you're modest, you are kind, you're selfless, generous to a fault, stylish. You're an international friend. You have phenomenal taste in food and fine wines and champagne and gin and tonics. Let's not forget that. Definitely knows a good gin and tonic. You can sing. You're a music lover. You can dance. You're well traveled, as we all know. You can roller skate and rollerblade the arse of anybody that I know.
And ice skate.
Ice skate as well. But you're also the best listener. You're one of the few people I know that will just hear your story, not even make a judgment. Or if you are, you wait until I finish telling the story, then you make your judgment, and then you laugh about it.
Exactly.
You have the best hugs on the planet, and you have the best humor ever. The best humor ever. So those are some of the reasons. One of the things that I love about Dion the most is that nothing is ever too big for him to do or too small. And I'm just going to give you a couple of my favorite examples.
Okay.
So I remember when I was living with my cousin Andrea. Well, maybe she was living with me at my apartment at that time. I can't remember. And we both had the flu. We're both really sick. And I called Dion up. Well, Dion called and said, "Hey, girls, what you doing? What's going on? What's shaking? What's happening?" And I was like, "Oh, we're so sick. We're in bed." And he was like, "Oh, what's wrong?" I was like, "I don't know. That we got the flu. We're both in bed." And he was like, "Oh, well, did you drink something or anything?" "We don't have any food. We don't have food." He was like, "You don't have any food?" It's like, "Yeah, because we got so sick we didn't go out." So, "I'll be right over." So he came over. You want to tell the rest of the story? Because this is like one of my favorites.
Well, I get to the house and they're both in bed watching TV and they're just, "Oh, we don't feel good." And I'm like, "Well, wait, you don't have any food? We don't have anything. There's nothing in the house." So I said, "Okay, all right, you know what, tell you what, I'm gonna go to the kitchen. I'll be back in a minute." I go to the kitchen, I look in the freezer and I think they have some shrimp, some frozen shrimp. I got some shrimp out. I noticed they had some pasta. She had some heavy cream. She had some seasoning. I noticed some garlic. So all of a sudden, I just start cooking up. I'm just cooking things and everything. Next thing you know, I'm cooking the garlic and the olive oil in the pan, and all of a sudden they hear, smell? What's that? What's that smell? And all of a sudden, I had this delicious shrimp with garlic, shrimp and garlic in a what do you call that sauce?
A cream sauce.
Cream sauce. Yeah, cream sauce. I forget, Alfredo sauce. So basically, it was a shrimp Alfredo that I'd made for them. And they said they didn't have any food, but they just didn't look. That's all. They're so used to going out to eat and everything. And I was like, look, sometimes you just have to know how to do it from the ground up. And just
That's right.
Look and see what you have and get something and just make it. And I remember that time too, because they were both so sick and everything. And then when I brought the food and they were like, "Wow." I think they both started crying.
Yeah, we were. We were like, "I can't believe you made food for us. We had nothing to eat." Nothing to eat. Oh my goodness. There's tons of food in your house. But we were quite what should we say, a bit bougie in those days. So one would
every day and we didn't have anything to eat and but there was a lot of food in the house. It was great.
Yeah. So another one of my favorite memories was gosh, there's so many. I think another one of my favorite memories was when we decided we were going to go to this Italian restaurant, Bacca di Bucca.
Ah, yes.
And we were going to have some fine red. Was it Amarone? Was it the
Amarone or Brunello di Montalcino? I think it was an Amarone.
It was an Amarone.
Yes.
And fabulous Italian wine. So we go in and we sit at the counter, you know, all fabulous, well dressed, looking great. And the guy says, "Look, I've got two different bottles. I've got sort of the house version, and I've got the good stuff." And he pours out the house version, and we taste it, and we're like, "Yeah, that's pretty good. It's all right. It's pretty good. It's all right." And then he pours out the wine, and we're like, "This is it." It's like, great, you know, we'll take a bottle of that. And then he says, "Okay, that will be how much? Do you remember, Dion?"
It was either $137, something crazy, like $137 a bottle or something. We were like,
We're talking maybe 20 years ago. This is not recently, right? So
yeah,
$137 then was like $500 now. So we were obviously a bit embarrassed, but of course, you know, we're looking fabulous. So we order our wine, and then he says, and what would you like to have to eat with that? And we're just like, well, we'll just have some bread.
Olive oil, some bread, some salt, we're fine.
We hooked up that bread and the salt.
That was
glamorous. I mean, it was one of those, maybe you had to be there, but it was, oh my gosh, I'll never forget it. We laughed all the way home. But it was an amazing bottle of wine. Again, a memory that we'll never forget. We'll never forget. And another very deep and personal memory was when my cousin Andrea passed away. I remember calling Dion and saying, "Dion, Andrea's gone. I mean, I don't know what to do. You know, the funeral's coming up. I don't know what to say. I'm just lost. I'm just lost." And he said my favorite words that he always says to me. He said, "I'll be there. Tell me what day the funeral is, the time. I'll be there. Don't worry, because what do you always say?
I got you. I got you, girl."
And I was just in tears. And on the day of the funeral, you know, obviously we were all really sad, and we were getting ready to go to the service. And I was just like, "Oh my God, where is Dion? Where's Dion? Where's Dion?" And just as we're getting to the door, he walks in and he's like, "I'm here. I told you. I got you. I'm here."
What about me showing up at the market in Leicester?
Well, that was another good one. That was another one. So
Sure.
He calls me one day and he says, hey girl, guess where I am?" And I'm like, "I don't know, Fiji?" "No, not Fiji. I don't know." And, you know, I mentioned 3 or 4 places. And you're like, "No, I'm in Leicester." I'm like, "Leicester? Leicester where?" And he's like Leicester, England. I'm like, "Leicester, England? Like Leicester, like where my mum is? Like where yeah, Leicester there." "What are you doing in Leicester?" And he's like, "I'm here. I can't see you." And he had this phenomenal, beautiful bunch of flowers because my mum had just passed, but he wasn't able to come to the funeral. So he came ahead of time to see me and just spend some quality time with me. And it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. Yeah, Eva, supportive friendship, always in my corner. Doesn't matter what, I can count on him night or day. In fact, I've also got another great night story. I remember one day, I remember this. I called you up and I said, "Dion," because at the time I didn't have a car and you did. You've always had a car anyway, haven't you?
No, yeah, I guess so. I guess since I've known you, I've always had a car.
And I called you and I said, "Dion, I don't have any toilet paper." And you were like, "Really? 11 o'clock at night, really? You can help me?" "Yeah, I'll be over." No problem. I mean, like, how many friends would do that for you? But one of the nicest things you've ever done, I mean, there's too many nice things you've done, but one of my favorite things that you've done. Now, guys, tell me if this is not a friend. So we decided to go to Italy. In fact, we have some pictures that I'd love to show you. We went on a trip to Italy because it was the end of an era in my life, the end of a relationship, and Dion and I wanted to celebrate. So we went to Italy and we had this fabulous trip that we'll kind of walk you through a little bit. And we had to fly to Venice. And so Dion has what they call buddy pass, where you can get a friend or a family member on for a discounted price. So we get to the airport. I've got my buddy pass in hand because I'm getting on the flight, and we get there and he says, you're probably going to get upgraded to first class. I'm like, oh my God. Going from New York to, we flying from New York, weren't we?
We flew from New York to Venice.
New York to Japan, yeah. Was it Chicago? Why did I have Chicago in my head? Anyway, so we were going to New York to Venice. And when you have a buddy pass, you're the last person to get on the flight. So I'm like the last person, and then they say, oh, you know, we've only got one seat left, so you have to go, you know, into cattle class. I was like, oh, 10 hours in the back of the plane. Oh no. So I go and I sit in the back of the plane, you know. And then Dion comes up and he says, why don't you go and sit in first class? You can have my seat. How many friends would do that for you?
I've been there so many times anyway. You know, it's just a seat on a plane.
I mean, it was really hard for me, but I had to just take his offer, you know. So I was up front drinking and
It's so crazy.
having a good time. So that was another great memory. And another memory, and this will be my last one, another one that you did that I thought was great. Well, do you remember when I was going to Arizona, what you did? You surprised me.
Ah, yes. You were going to Arizona to a retreat with some friends, and I gave you a huge basket with lots of treats and red wine and cheeses, and yeah, I remember that. Fruit, cheeses, everything on the plane.
On the plane. So they called me up front, Miss Lowe, could you come to the front, please? And I'm thinking, what have I done? What have I said? What have I done? Can you come to the front, please? So I had to get out of my seat, and I was kind of closer to the center to the back. And I walk up to the front, and I'm really nervous, you know, with my passport in my hand. Am I getting kicked off the flight? What did I say? What did I do? And they said, oh, we have a gift for you. A basket's been delivered for you. This basket was not one that was about this big. I had to walk up the, sorry. But I was able to take it back and share with my friends. So thank you. And I've had many, many gifts over the years. So as I say to many of my clients, which, you know, I say to all the men that I date, that I have 3 non-negotiables in my relationships. The 3 things that I cannot live without, and one of them is Dion. So they know that who comes with the package. If they don't like it, then they're not in the party. They're like, no, they don't enjoy it. So Dion, any quick memories that you have that you want to share?
You know, I have so many memories. But I think what I want to share the most, I think right now, is that when I think of how long we've been friends, you know, since 1995, I just think of really how valuable it is to have a really good friend, someone to listen to you when you need, you know, when you need to just talk and just unload on them. They can just listen and they'll take it all in. They give their best advice. That's why I think that I am still your friend, because I can always talk to you. I can always express myself to you, and we can always just talk. And sometimes if you want to just sit and just be there next to the person, like I can just sit next to you and you'll know exactly what, if I'm going through something, you'll understand. You'll know when to say, hey, is everything okay? You'll know when to say that or when not to. And that's what I appreciate about your friendship, that it's unconditional love that you have for me, and the same I have for you. And I treasure that, and I value that so much. I think with friendship, most of my friends, as you know, Michelle, most of my friends I've known for years.
Yes, and we have a group of really close friends between us.
Very close group of friends, and not a lot, you know, not just a lot of people, but very, very close friends. And those close friends are privileged enough to, I guess, meet my other friends. You know, Michelle, you know, all of my very close friends that are my little group of friends that I know. And we live on different parts of the earth, but we're always right here together with each other.
Right. We've got Don and we've got David.
David, who knows everyone knows him.
Anyway, we go with David, some random place, and somebody come up, hey, Dave.
Yeah. Everyone knows David.
Incessantly. So audience, do any of you have any stories about great friendships? Anything that you want to share with us? That'd be lovely to hear. If you've got anything that you'd like to share about a great friend, something they've done, something they've said, put it in the chat so we could talk about it. Let's talk about it. So Denise talked about the fact that she was at the wedding too. Yeah.
Yes.
Together. We were there together.
It was her daughter, actually.
Yeah, it was your daughter, Denise.
My niece, yeah.
So many great stories. What else? I'll ask a few more questions here. No one coming up with any questions? Okay, well, I'm going to move on for the moment. But Dion, I want to read to you my favorite quote. Well, it's not really a quote. One of my favorite singers. You know who my favorite singer is?
Your
Of all
favorite singer?
time?
Starting with an L?
No.
No? Okay. Your favorite singer of all time? Let's see. There's so many people. Stevie Wonder?
Yes.
Well, we have lots of Stevie Wonder stories too. So,
Yes, we have, but we haven't got time for them. But Stevie says, "Love's in need of love today. Don't delay. Send yours in right away." So, what kind of love do you need? What kind of love do you think the world's in need of? What do you think about love today, especially what we've been through in the last year?
Well, I think it's really important that right now. I mean, I know that normally in life, without COVID, of course, we were able to just talk to someone and smile at them and everything. I think now it's really important for people to share. Since we all have masks on, you can't really see our face. You can't see the smile. Hey, how are you? You can't see any of that. It's really in the way you speak to someone, the way you take time sometimes.
Oh,
When you ask someone, "Oh, hey, how are you?" Wait a second and wait to listen to what they're going to say after they say it to you. It's learning how to communicate properly and effectively with people that kind of will kind of, in some ways, it kind of makes people a little bit more comfortable with you. And I think now everyone needs to be able to just give everyone a little bit of time to just, I'm doing okay, but times are tough, and just once you can just stop and listen and hear that and be able to express yourself. And
yeah, that's so cool. And I had posted in our group earlier that, last Monday was Monday Blues, or Blue Monday, they called it. A lot of people suffer. And during this time of COVID, we don't know what people are going through. So if you haven't heard from someone, you haven't spoken to someone in a while, don't just assume that they're not being bothered. Maybe they're actually going through something. We just don't know. So just reach out. And in fact, when I posted that, a friend I hadn't spoken to in about 9 months called me up and said, "Michelle, I'm so glad you posted that. You made me think about our relationship and how I haven't spoken to you." And it was so lovely to hear from her. And I hadn't even thought about it in any other way other than I thought she was busy and she thought I was busy. That was the only reason why we hadn't called each other.
yeah.
That was it. Yeah. There's a really great comment here. I don't know who said it, but it says, "You really know you have you really know you have great friends when you're going through hard times. And like Dion, they appear, support, and just pour love on you." So nice. Whoever wrote that, can you just write your name in, because I can't see who it is?
Yeah.
Okay. So yeah, that's so beautiful. So Dion, we have been on for almost an hour.
Really? Isn't that long? Oh yeah.
So let's just wrap it up a little bit. And I just wanted to ask you to just impart with the group, do you have any tips or anything that you'd like to share with them during these really difficult times that we're going through? A lot of people are struggling on many levels, and some of it's not always that obvious. Is there anything that you'd like to impart with our audience right now?
Well, just take time to listen to what people have to say. Sometimes, with these masks on, like I was mentioning before, with masks on, it's really hard to sometimes communicate, and you're moving so fast and stuff. But sometimes when you just, people now, they're not looking at your mouth anymore when you're smiling or looking at you talking. They're looking at your eyes.
Yeah.
They're looking at your eyes to see if you're listening to them, or if you understand what they're saying or something. So sometimes when people are talking to you, just make it a point to focus in on their eyes and look directly at them and just let them know that, hey, I'm here with you. I got you. I'm with you. I got you. I understand. It's so easy now to just, you've got this marathon, and we're just talking and moving, but just stop and just look at them and thank you so much. And just that half a second that you wait can make a difference in their life, or make them.
Absolutely. Well, you know what? Thank you so much for being my friend, but also the friend of many of our close friends. I mean, we've got a group of really close friends that we share. We've got Agnes,
yes,
John, and David. Alistair. There's a whole bunch of us that are really good friends, and we don't see each other that much. You've got Dirk in Germany. You know, so many friends that we don't get to see each other, and even worse now that we can't fly, we can't be together.
Yeah.
Joel in Denmark, you know, we're all separated by planes, but hopefully we'll be reunited really, really soon.
Yeah.
And I can't wait for our next annual trip. Where are we going to go?
I don't know. We gotta go somewhere. Can we do Tortola again, like we did before?
Great. Oh, Virgin Islands.
Great. Oh, I loved it. Maybe we can do anything or something like that.
I want to thank you so much. I've got a couple of comments here. Amanda was the one that said that wonderful comment. Thanks, Amanda.
Thank you, Amanda. That was great.
Yeah. And Claudia said, thank you to both of you for an interesting and engaging conversation. It really is. And honestly, we probably toned it down a bit. We're a bit more crazy normally.
Yeah, I think so. I think I toned it down a little bit because usually
what's going on with them? They have their own conversation and we're not in it. So, you know, we wanted you to be involved. But Dion, I love you from the bottom of my heart, as you know. Goes without saying. I miss you so much. But I feel like we're kindred spirits. We're always together, whether we're physically there, whether we're talking on the phone, whether we're texting, whatever. And you know, I can't wait to be in your arms, hugging.
Oh, that makes me feel so nice. Love you, Michelle. Yeah.
Big kiss.
Okay, bye.
See you soon. See you soon, my darling. Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. It was so great. So glad I got to share someone really deep and really important in my life. And it doesn't take away from my other girlfriends that I'm so close to. But, you know, this is my male friend that, it's just a je ne sais quoi. That's all I can tell you. And I just wanted to leave you with something that someone sent to me over the Christmas. You can't see it, but it's about friendship. And I'm just going to read it really quickly because I think you guys have been so kind to hang out with us for almost an hour. But someone sent me this thing about friendship, and I assume they were talking about their friendship with me. But the statement says, friends are treasures. They are the family we choose, a diverse group not related by blood, but by a feeling of belonging. And I am grateful for my friends whom I can count on in good times and challenging times, even when my friends and I are not in the same place. We're always connected in spirit. My friends are always, always ready to share a laugh or a tender moment and to lend emotional support when I need it. I give the same support and encouragement. I reach out to help when my friend is in need. And I am the voice of reason and the person to lean on. I am present in times of joy, frustration, or sorrow. And when my friends share a concern, I listen with empathy and respond with honesty and compassion. That's how I sum up a friendship. I hope you've got a friendship like that too. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. So as always, be joyful, be connected, and shine your light. Good night.